Alright folks, so this is not exactly a video that I wanted to make, but I'm going to do it again. We're calling out the West Virginia Department of Transportation on the poor construction of the culvert under the road that they installed 2 years ago, and it already does not work. So let's go check it out. So what I'm going to show you is the issue that we're having, and then I'm going to show you the side effects that it causes for having it. I'll show you what the problem was previous, and I'll show you what the problem is now. So for years, our creek has flowed down through here and down through there and went through this culvert and goes under the road to the ditch over on that side. Let's go check it out. So just like the other side of the road, this creek has water coming out of it, but check this out. There is almost nothing. There is absolutely nothing coming out of this pipe. But all that water's got to go somewhere. It's going under the pipe. Okay? It's coming out underneath the pipe. This pipe only flows when it's got a lot of water in the creek. It's been crushed down to an oval. It's supposed to be 36 inches high. Now I'll show you what they did. So, as you saw in a previous video that I put up a couple years ago, they tore this whole section of road up here. This whole section of road was tore up for probably 2 weeks. It was impassable. They had to divert traffic both ways out the road. I live in a back road, so it takes a really long way to divert around this. But when they came in, this creek used to be as deep as that creek. That creek is 6-8 feet deep, maybe even deeper. This creek is now 1.5 to 2 foot deep. It's almost level with the front yard right here, which never used to be like that. Why? Because all these rocks were dumped in when they put the culvert in. Now, why would they dump the rocks in? Well, because they didn't put the culvert low enough, so they had to fill the ground up to where the water could run in there. But obviously, water goes through rocks, under rocks. This is exactly what it's doing here. It has been running under this pipe for the better part of a year now, and I just realized it because we've been in a drought over the last year. But we've had a lot of rain in the last month and snow melt. So with that being said, all of this water is going under the pipe, under the road, cracking the road. Here you can see the cracks a little better. There's more cracks in here. More cracks here. No more cracks up that way. But oh, would you look at that? There's a patch over there already because it's cracking and falling apart. This whole thing gets covered in water every time it rains. Okay? Because we have no drainage. I'll show you another part of this. So, our neighbors who used to live here across the street from us, they sold their house last year. June was the last day, or last time that they were in that house. The new owners that moved in realized that they had an issue. I'll show you. That issue is this. So, this culvert flows fine, comes down to here, and this culvert flows fine. It's perfectly fine. Now the thing that's not fine is all of this water also goes under the ground, because this pipe was supposed to come out on the other side of their driveway next to the pipe that runs under the road. When they dropped the pipe under the road in, they crushed the other end of this pipe. It no longer sticks out, and it's buried under rock. It has since been excavated, but it still doesn't flow right. It clogs up every time something comes. This is from their clog. This is just on this side, because after the other side clogs up, it starts pouring over here. It pours over there. It pours over into our driveway, into their yard, into their driveway, and almost into their garage and through their yard, and then it cascades off the other end. Never has this been an issue. Never in my entire life has this been an issue. Okay? Here we are some more. You can see down through here, that creek is 4 to 5 feet deep. I can stand in there and my head barely sticks over the top of the hill. All right. You come down this way, and this creek is not. The tallest thing in this creek is a bunch of leaves that back up here whenever the water backs up to here. And it gets in here. You can see how eroded this is. This used to never be that low. It used to be as high as the driveway all the way out and then down into the creek. Well, they filled that up and they blocked that up. And now every time a rain comes in, this whole thing becomes a churning cesspool of water and is slowly eroding away our land. So this is the problem, okay? The problem is we need them to fix that. We need the state to fix this properly. We need the state to come in and dig up all this freaking rock that they decided to drop in our ditch, which does nothing except raise the level of the water here, spilling it here, and it doesn't do anything here, obviously. I mean, you can see where they stopped pouring the rock, and it's still lower than what doesn't have rock on it. See? High, low, rock, eroded. All right, there's part of the old road that they tore up to put this thing in. So if they're not going to fix this, I'm going to have to. And I threatened them with this the last time. So here's the issue. From here, all of that gets covered in water. All of this backs up with water. The water runs around here. I'm standing on a hill. I'm standing on the fireplace hill. But everything below this hill gets covered in water every time it rains. Even if it's just a small rain for a few hours, we see water up here. Okay? They were supposed to replace that pipe, drop it down low enough to where it would drain and irrigate all of this that way. Instead, they put the pipe in here, they filled up the creek with rock, and they smashed the other culvert from the other side when they put it in. They did not take any consideration into the fact that somebody spent their own money on this whole pipe that's now completely useless. And it's buried in a way that it's going to have to take a lot of money to tear it up. Guess what? If the state doesn't do it, which they're going to do everything they can to try to get out of it, then it's going to be up to the homeowner. And obviously, the homeowner is kind of sick of this because it's not even an issue that he should have to be dealing with because it's not a problem that he created. This is a state-created problem with tax dollars. They paid for this mess with tax dollars, okay? So this is what your overpriced West Virginia taxes are paying for, is this nonsense. You can see all the debris along the road here. I mean, that's just a creek bed. That looks like a freaking creek bed. 7 feet above the creek. All right. So we are going to try to get a hold of the state about this. The last time it took years, and I finally made a video and tagged the Department of Transportation in every form of social media I could think of. And eventually somebody got back with us and they did this. At the time we were like, great, they're fixing the problem finally. And they came out here and they wasted a bunch of money and about 4 or 5 people's time for 2 weeks. And yeah, at the end of the day, they didn't do anything but create the same problem that they were trying to fix. If anybody watching this is a contractor or works with the state or just has any sort of connections or pull with the state, contact me. Drop a comment in the bottom. Share the video everywhere. You know, show it to whoever you need. But we need to fix this. Because I'll be honest with you, if we have to go through this again, I'm going to go out and I'm going to rent an excavator and I'm going to buy the pipe and I'm going to tear this freaking road up by myself with my neighbor and a few of my friends. Because I know we can get the job done and we can do it correctly. And we'll do it correctly the first time. Not the second, third, or fifth. The first time. Like it should have been. If you work for the state and you do this for a living, do you need an engineering degree? Do you have to have any knowledge of hydrology in any sense? What's your job description? Because if this is the kind of work that you're doing here, well, it's useless. Your job is useless. Because we don't need that kind of work. I mean, we already get taken advantage of by the government on every single thing that they can possibly fabricate. So at this point, we need, we need a voice for the people, and that voice is going to be me. All right, they don't like to talk to me because I'm an asshole. Okay, I'll just come out and say it. I can be an asshole, and especially whenever it comes to stuff like that, you better believe I'm going to put my heart and soul into this. It's ridiculous. All right, lived here for almost 40 years. 40 years. And this problem has consistently existed because at one point it flowed fine. And then the culvert broke. And once the culvert broke, well, they came and fixed it. They did a half-assed job. And then they left it for like 10 years while we complained and complained and complained and complained. And then out of nowhere, here we are again. They fixed it 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, and it's already broke. So now what? We're going to have to complain for 10 more years? The last time it got fixed, the road was so undermined and undercut that I basically in the video was like, is it going to take a school bus full of children before it's sunlight out to fall in the ditch here? To just fall into a ravine before it gets fixed? And that's what it finally took for the state to say, you know what, maybe we should look at that. So, this time, we're not going to do that. We're not going to wait until a school bus decides it wants to fall into the ditch or the road starts calving away because, well, it's already a problem. And the longer it becomes a problem or stays a problem, the more problems it becomes for us. Myself, the neighbors, all of us. Our driveway is slipping into the creek side very slowly over time. Again, was never a problem until all of this stuff started happening. So, please, if you know somebody that can do something about this, contact them. Have them contact me. Maybe contact me directly and give them my number and I will contact them. Yeah, because, as of right now, the DOT, the governor's office, the Better Business Bureau, all these people are going to hear about this. All right, and there's probably going to be 1 million views on this video. So I really hope every single one of you hits that like and share button, comment in the bottom, make sure that, the message gets seen. Because, again, social media has a way of hiding things if they're not liked and shared. So go ahead and do that. I would really appreciate it. But, yeah, I'm going to start throwing some of these rocks somewhere else. Got to make this creek a little deeper. We got to fix a hole over here. And, yeah. We're going to shore up some of these banks that are falling down. We're going to use the state's rock that they decided to conveniently or inconveniently throw right next to our driveway and create a levee or a dam. So, if you have a problem with this, good. I do too. Alright guys, I'll update you later. Thanks. Alright, we're going to get us a rough estimate real quick. If I even have enough tape here. I got 100 foot on this. Alright, we're at about 97.5 here, and it's a few feet short up there. So, yeah. So 97 feet went from that corner right there. That's about 3 feet from there. I'm going to call that a 100-foot pipe. That's going to be expensive. Not to mention how expensive this road's going to be costing to replace after it's all tore up. And yeah, when all this stuff gets done, it will have an invoice sent to the Department of Transportation, and if they refuse to pay it in a timely manner, as the state intends all people should pay their bills and dues, then yeah, we'll be taking this to court. And guess who's got a good lawyer? Yep, I know a guy, and he is willing to represent this case if we push it that far. So, want to fight Jim? Big old Jim? Yeah, right, like Big Jim's gonna get out of his chair. His fat ass doesn't even stand up to address his people that he, is governor of. So, I don't think he's gonna get up and fight anytime soon. In fact, people like him are exactly why this state is in the shape that it's in. 50th in poverty, #1 in utility bills, highest tax state in the country. Yeah. West Virginia gets bent over backwards, and Why? Because we let people like, you know, the coal barons that have run this state for the last 100 years continue to run it. Those people are still in power. Those people will never leave power because you can't vote them out. They live in the seat. They own the power. They own you. They own me. They own all of us. And if you say they don't, go to work and tell them you're not paying taxes on your next check. See what happens. They own you, whether you want to believe it or not. On the other side of the yard, we have this little mess. It was also the state's doing. We have a drainage ditch coming down here. We have a drainage ditch going out over there because the state came and dumped a whole big pile of rocks right in through here, and they created another dam from this creek that runs off the hill here, comes down, and then it splits. Up through there, you can see where the creek runs off the hill, comes straight down to here. I'm gonna turn this way, and there's the dam that they built out of riprap, and it goes to right there, and it goes to that light pole. And because of that, the neighbor's yard down there is completely soggy all the way to the driveway. Every bit of it's just a soggy mess because they've thrown so much rock in through here up to their driveway that it now creates a flood zone disaster. I mean, look right here, I'm only about 2.5 feet above and it drops down over here. Right here, the ground is basically level with the water. That's your level of water. How high can it rise before it goes into their front yard? Like 4 inches. If it comes up 4 inches, their whole freaking yard gets swamped, okay? How is this not a problem? How is this acceptable work done by the state? You can see right here where the rock ends, and we dug a trench to try to drain some of this out, okay? That rock continues all the way up there. That's the whole reason the whole thing's humped up in the air like that, because they threw a whole bunch of rock down here to bring the level up. So we're going to take care of this. The state's going to take care of this, and we're not going to shut up until it's fixed. All right. If you have a problem in your town with irrigation, with poor road conditions, with anything, I advise you contact the state. Complain, blow them up on a daily basis. They don't have feelings. They're a faceless entity. They can't have feelings. So go ahead, do your worst. Let's take this country back. Okay, so I've been removing some of the rocks from the center to try to make this a little deeper, leaving the ones on the edges because, you know, we don't want to have less of our bank. But check this out. Where's that going? Where is that going? It's definitely not going through the pipe. That's a lot of water to just kind of stop right there and go into the earth. Yeah, this is what we're dealing with.